Welcome back. Now, Feminist, also known as Nalafem, is a pan-African multi-generational platform of women, politicians and activists with a mission to foster and mobilize for transformative feminist leadership. The organization was launched in 2021, and since its inception, it has established itself as one of Africa's largest multi-generational platforms. As it prepares to host its third summit on the 1st of July, that's Monday next week, we are joined in studio by the Minister of Information and Communications Technology, that's Emma Theofelus, to share more on this upcoming summit. A very good morning to you, Emma. Ms. Theofelus, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Dishishia. Very good morning to you and to the viewers.
All right. Of course, just perhaps for the sake of our viewers, I touched a bit on what Nalafem is, and it's been around since 2021. But perhaps you can just give us more insights into what this organization is all about.
Indeed. So Feminist movement, as you said, is a pan-Africanist organization that is multi-generational. It's led by a council of 17, political activists or activists in general, who are women leaders on the continent who want to change the trajectory of young women's ability to lead in Africa. So the idea around the collective is to ensure that we prepare young women for leadership with African values towards gender equality, hence Nala, which means lioness in Arabic, and as a feminist movement, a pan-African one that is multi-generational, because we do know that there are women that have gone before us on the continent to lead, and it wasn't easy, and some of them are still around. So we want to create the platform in the collective to actually learn from their journeys, so we're able to take Africa to a better height in terms of leadership.
Obviously, and I want to perhaps just, I think the reason is obvious why you form part of this organization and why you're forming part of the summit as well, but just perhaps from your own personal standpoint, so to say, and perhaps from your own experiences as well, the importance of really fostering women leadership in the political space, in the business space, the private sector, whatever the case may be. Perhaps you just want to talk to us about that.
Most definitely. I think in the last 20 years or so, the continent has seen women leaders increase. Of course, that is very much welcomed, both in the public sector, politics, public enterprises, public multilateral entities, but also in the private sector. But we still see a disparity between women in these positions of leadership compared to men. So let's say in the multilateral organizations of the world, we probably have about 10% of those leaders female and the rest are male. So it looks like we have women coming up, and it's a good thing, but many of them still do not get to the top. They are either in middle management or lower management or even junior staff. So we want to see that trajectory increase of women getting to the top of organizations that they've been working in for years, or that impact women's lives on a daily basis. So we want to see more of that. So that, that trajectory is important to us as a collective. But also for me, as a young female leader on the continent, I do not want to be the only young minister in the space, young female minister in the space. I want to see more of us pop up on the continent. And that's the idea around the collective and many of the other activities I'm engaged in, because we must find a conveying belt of more and more young women getting to positions of leadership, because there's no pride in being the only one. We must be a collective to actually move the needle on the continent.
Very much. And lions move in packs.
Yes.
And lionesses move in packs too. Very much indeed. Just looking at, the timing of the summit comes when Namibia just really got this wonderful ranking as far as gender parity is concerned, ranking 8th. So what do you make of globally? Yes. Can you imagine? What do you make of that ranking, and of course the progress that we've made as a nation?
I think we've done very well, and it's evident. A couple of months ago, we achieved gender parity in Parliament, literally 50-50 in the National Assembly. Right now, we are having elections in November 2024, where we're going to have a record number of female presidential candidates ever in Namibia, including our vice president, our first female vice president, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. And we also are seeing that we have really done very well in ensuring that the girl child gets an education. That's why we see a record number of them graduating from institutions of higher learning. Absolutely. So I think as a country, we have done very well. And this really started with some of the legal reforms, like, for example, the Marriage Equality Persons Act of 1996, which showed that spouses in a marriage, both male and female, were equal.
Yes.
So all of this, legal reforms, legal frameworks, society accepting women's ability to lead, to get an education, to take a stand, has brought us to this point where we are, to being ranked 8th globally in actually trying to achieve gender parity. But there's still more to be done. Yeah. In the private sector, we've done very well. In the banking sector, especially by seeing a number of female CEOs of some of the largest banks. But that still needs to continue in many other parts, in mining, in construction, in technology, which is in engineering, which is some of well seen as male-dominated industries. So there's still more to do. And the idea is not to overtake, it's to achieve gender parity.
I was going to help you to, I was going to ask you to please underscore that. Yes,
yes, because I think, but we must recognize that if there is some feeling that somebody is coming to take over, it means that they've not been well represented in the space for a long time.
Yes.
And women have not been well represented in the space. That's why as gentlemen, you'd feel threatened. Yeah. But the reality of the fact is, majority of the population in this country is female. It's only right that we take 50% of the share in almost everything, because we make up that much in society. And that, a person's gender does not equate generally their ability. It's what they bring to the table, their smarts, their worldview, their lived experience. And women have not been part of the conversation for a long time. So all we want is gender equality.
Nobody's taking over anything, just equality.
Absolutely not.
Very much so.
Yes.
And these are, of course, some of the things that will be underscored at the summit. Perhaps you can provide us with further details of the summit. Yeah.
Indeed, the summit will be conducted under the theme Women's Right to Lead. Her Excellency, the Vice President, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, will be the keynote speaker and patron of the summit. It's really an opportunity to have a multi-generational conversation between senior female leaders and junior female leaders. We expect former politicians, female former politicians on the continent, former first ladies. Yes. We expect female business leaders on the continent to grace this occasion.
It's huge.
Definitely. Yeah. So it's really geared towards Pan-Africanist female leaders, how we can create a new crop of young female leaders with Africa at heart and putting Africa first.
Very much.
So this is really what the summit will be highlighting.
And Namibia hosting the summit
Absolutely.
Says even more. Taking place here in Windhoek. Yeah.
Correct. At the Country Club next week, 1st of July, Monday, the whole day. So those that cannot participate physically, you're welcome to buy tickets online to follow the live proceedings online.
Fantastic. Minister Theofelus, of course, they say that women have some of the best solutions to many of our problems, and of course, by placing women in these meaningful positions that can effect change. Just how do you see women's contribution to solving some of the issues that we see around the globe? I think we can agree that we men have not done a very good job. No. Even speaking right now, the conflicts that we're seeing around the globe.
Absolutely. The conflicts, the more capitalistic approach to leadership as opposed to a social one, looking at socio-economic matters. I think that's the unique leadership that women bring, because make no mistake, women are already leaders in society.
True. Absolutely.
They hold up literally our societies and keep them together. They're the cornerstone. We hear this on Mother's Day and Women's Day. But we want to hear this every day, because they literally do this job every day.
Absolutely.
They ensure that our families are intact. They ensure that male persons in the family are able to leave the home and go do the jobs that they do, because they don't have to worry about what's happening at home, because that's taken care of by women. So they lead. They ensure that they raise the men that are seen as capable in society, but we look at it and then all of a sudden we say women cannot lead, but they're the ones raising the men that are leading. So there's a contradiction somewhere. So I think women really play that pivotal role, and they've not been given ample opportunity to lead, especially in political spaces, and the time is now to give them that space. Especially in leadership at the highest levels, we must give them the space to do so, so we can tap into their worldview and lived experience to lead our societies to the next greatest heights. So I think that opportunity needs to be given to women. Many of them are grabbing it, but space has to be given on the table for women to lead. And I think many of us are starting to realize in society that it's unfair that women don't have that equal opportunity to lead.
Thank you so much for being with us, Minister Theofelus. All the best with this summit, and we wish you resounding success and, of course, amplifying those concerns and amplifying those voices here.
Thank you for having me.
There you have it. Minister Emma Theofelus, Minister of Information and Communications Technology, here in studio this morning, talking to us about the third Nalafem Summit taking place at the Windhoek Country Club and Resort. That's on Monday, right here in the capital. We are expecting that is the Vice President, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, to, of course, be the keynote speaker at this important occasion as well. You're looking at women leaders from all across the African continent who will converge here in Namibia.